Today is the day that I pull back the curtain and walk you through the exact business model that we use to build a $100 million coaching company. The entire thing, start to finish, how we create offers, how we attract clients, how we enroll those clients. This simple process is the backbone of my entire $100 million company. And it's what's enabled us to empower our clients to do probably somewhere around $1 billion in revenue using this model. I'm going to walk you through the entire thing. This is a training that was taken from a private exclusive event. I'm going to go ahead and give it to you for free because it just does a perfect job of explaining this model. So if you've ever wondered, how can people sell their wisdom, knowledge, or expertise for $5,000, $10,000, $15,000? How can they attract clients on a consistent basis? This training is going to show you exactly how we do it and answer all of your questions. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Oh, hold up there. Nothing that I say on this channel should ever be taken as a claim about what you can do or what you can earn. According to the US Department of Labor statistics, you have less than a 1 in 1,000 chance of building an 8-figure business. All business entails risk. Most businesses fail. All I can do on this channel is share with you what's worked for me and what's worked for my clients. What you do with that information is up to you. All right, back to the video.
All right, so the high ticket model. We're gonna take an inside look at the high ticket coaching business and why this model just might be the best way for you to build a dream business that changes the world one client at a time. So our goal for this session, the first thing we're gonna do is pull back the curtain. I'm gonna show you what that high ticket coaching business looks like. Then we're gonna work together to map out your high ticket offer. And in my opinion, if you wanna make an incredible living, if you wanna experience total freedom in your life to go where you wanna go and do what you wanna do, and if you wanna make an incredible impact on the lives of your clients, this is the best business model on the planet. And if it wasn't, I would be doing something else. So keep in mind, guys, I'm gonna be giving you a lot of Clients on Demand secret sauce today, just so you know. This is, please, what happens at this event stays at this event, all right? You're not authorized to reteach this or reuse this in your training. I'm gonna give you a lot of our secret sauce today that people pay a lot of money for. And the reason I'm doing it is because I'm here to help you live your mission. And if I can sort of whet your appetite for what this sort of business and what this sort of life looks like, it can really change your life. So some real quick house rules, guys. This is not get rich quick. Building a business takes a lot of work. We can help you, we can show you, we can make it simple and step by step, but this is not easy. Building any business is not easy. I don't care if you're opening up a Taco Bell or if you're opening up a shooting range or whatever it is, or if it's a coaching company. Any business is not easy. This is not get rich quick. You must have real expertise for this to work. It doesn't mean you need to be an anointed expert. It doesn't mean you need to have a bunch of certifications or letters after your name, but it does mean that you need to be able to solve a major life or business challenge for your clients, because that's ultimately what people pay us to do. And again, I have to say this just for legal reasons, nothing that I'm gonna share with you should be taken as a statement about what you can do. So if I say something like, guys, I've done $100 million in high ticket sales, I'm not saying, you're gonna work on this for 5 minutes and you're gonna do $100 million in high ticket sales, right? And I know you know that, but legally, I just have to say it. I am one of the best in the world at this. I'm gonna pull back the curtain. I'm gonna show you what works for us. So I'm not making any promises about whether or not it's gonna work for you. Every business, every offer is different. And by the way, we're also not gonna be talking very much about money. So I'm not gonna be sharing our clients' earnings because the laws have changed. You're really not supposed to do that anymore. And besides, like I said, this is really about making the impact that you were born to make. And I believe the money is just a byproduct of doing that at the highest level. So what is high ticket? A high ticket offer is a coaching program or service that's priced at $3,000 to $15,000 or more on the front end. So that means that we don't waste people's time with like a $7 report or like a $47 video that they buy. We go straight for that high ticket offer. We sell them the thing that can really change their life, and we do it right out of the gate. Now, who can do this? The only requirement for making this work is that you must be able to solve a major life or business challenge for your clients. And if you can do that, then in my opinion, you should strongly consider using high ticket coaching as your #1 business strategy. I'm gonna walk you through what that looks like today. Now, what's the downside? What sucks about this model, right? Because everybody wants to know, well, Russ, yeah, you're painting this really beautiful picture of what this looks like, but I'm sure it's not that simple. And if you're thinking that, you're right, it's not. If you want to make this work, you must operate with total integrity. I'm going to be dead honest with you guys. A lot of what we're going to share with you over the next 3 days can be used for evil. Okay? A lot of what we're going to be sharing with you over the next 3 days, if you're not a good, honest, and ethical person, you can use these marketing and persuasion strategies for all kinds of nasty stuff. I'm counting on you to operate with total integrity. I'm counting on you to be somebody who does the right thing. You need to be able to talk to your clients. You need to work to get them real results. Again, this is highly, highly leveraged, meaning you can get a lot done with a very small investment of time, but it's not like quote unquote passive income. You still got to show up. You still got to do the work. All right. And you really should be advertising to scale this business. So this is a real business model. This isn't like some get rich quick, flash in the pan BS. This isn't like some crypto nonsense that worked like 3 weeks ago and then it stopped working like yesterday, but they're still going to try to sell you the program about it anyway until you figure out that it doesn't work. We've been doing this for a really long time, and we have a tremendous number of highly successful clients, okay? All right, really quick, just in case you don't know anything about me, my company is called Clients on Demand. Over the last few years, we've done over $100 million in high-ticket sales. High-ticket is all we do. It is our specialty, and we were the very first company to do and teach high-ticket coaching at scale. So you guys are in really good hands, and I'm saying that because I just want you to know that I know what I'm talking about. We've helped over 6,000 coaches and experts transition to the high-ticket model and make an incredible impact on the lives of their clients. We've been doing this for 10 years, and we have the best track record of results in the entire high-ticket coaching industry. And I want you guys to understand, nobody lasts that long. I think there's one other guy that's been in this particular model, in this particular business, as long as we have. And so I really want you guys to understand this isn't like some flash in the pan strategy. This isn't like some super trendy thing that's just going to stop working. This exact model has been working for 10 years, and it's going to keep working over the next 10 years because it is rooted in integrity and because it's rooted in creating a real transformation for people. So I really, really want you guys to understand that. If we were not getting results for our clients, there is no way that we could have been in business this long. No way. So let me tell you really quickly how I discovered this model. How did high-ticket coaching change my life? So if we go back in time, like 10 years, I was selling lower ticket stuff. So I was following some of those strategies that some of you guys might have come across, where I was selling ebooks for like $27. I was selling video courses for like $97. We would do these big launches, and I would sell like thousands of copies of like my $97 video course, and the reviews would be great. People would be happy. Oh my God, Russ, that program was so great. And I would talk to people. Russ, dude, I bought that video course. It's like the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I would say, great, man. What did you do with it? Did you implement it? Did you get results? And they would say, I just bought, 2 or 3 other programs, and I'll get around to implementing yours. I promise, right? And after having that conversation, like literally a few thousand times, I started to realize that I was coming out with really good products, right? Like reviews were good. Nobody asked for a refund. It was great, but nobody was doing anything. So guys, listen, like from just a purely capitalist perspective, maybe I shouldn't have cared, right? It's like they bought the book. They were happy with the book. Like who cares if they actually did anything with it, right? Everybody's happy. I made the sale. They're happy with what they bought. But to be dead honest with you, it started to bother me. It really started to bother me because I wasn't making an impact and I wasn't making a difference. And even though people were reading my stuff and enjoying my stuff, nobody was doing anything. Like nobody was changing their life, and it felt empty. And so I said to myself, look, I wonder what would happen if I flipped this whole model on its head. In other words, instead of trying to sell 5,000 copies of like a $27 ebook, what if I raised my prices to like $5,000 and I only worked with like 20 people a month? Like what would happen then? And I thought to myself, you know what, I bet here's what's going to happen. I bet these people will show up. I'll bet they'll be super committed. I bet they'll actually do the work, and I'll bet they will get the result. And then I was like, and then instead of having thousands of clients to worry about, I got like 20 people to take care of. And I bet that I could give them a really amazing, like VIP experience. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go for it. August of, I think it was 2013, I shut down all of my low ticket offers. And I said, I'm going all in on this high ticket thing. Very quickly realized I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea how to do that. I literally didn't make any money for like 3 months as I tried to figure out, okay, I have this high ticket offer. How the hell do I get clients into it? And I was like sitting there and trying to figure it out. And I tested all these different things and I burned through like credit cards, just testing and testing and testing. And then eventually December, it clicked. And in December of 2023, I made more money that month, 10 times more money than I had ever made before. That month is when everything clicked and it changed my life. And exactly what I thought was going to happen, happened. Those clients showed up committed. They showed up coachable. They did the work. They were the coolest, most low maintenance people in the world. They were fun to work with and they got some incredible results. And since then, I've never looked back. And that's why I believe that this high ticket model is the greatest thing in the world. And I'm honored and privileged to walk you through it. So if you think that if you're charging someone 5K or 8K or 10K to work with you, that they're going to be a total pain in the butt, I can tell you from experience, the opposite is true. It's the people that buy like a $10 book, those are the ones that are difficult. The people that are investing 5 or 8 or 10K to work with you are like the coolest people in the world. They show up coachable, they do the work, they make you look like a rock star, and you get to go to bed every night knowing you made a difference. Now, I know right now, if you're just trying to make ends meet, or you're just trying to pay the mortgage, or you're just trying to get your business off the ground, maybe you're not thinking that much about the impact that you're making, but I can tell you, man, that's where your power comes from. That's where the juice comes from. The more you focus on that difference that you were born to make, the easier everything else gets, including creating the money, okay? So let's take a step back. Before I dive into this model, and get you all excited about it and everything, let's just take a step back and just ask ourselves like a really simple question. What the hell do we want out of our business, right? Like, why have a coaching business at all? What's our goal here? What do we want to get? Well, if you're like most people, then I want to submit to you that there's really 3 things that we want. We want income. Income meaning that you can set an income goal and your business can hit that goal, right? Real simple. But we also want freedom. I define freedom as the ability to go pretty much wherever you want to go and do pretty much whatever you want to do. If you want to work from home and hang out with your kids, great, you can do that. If I want to get on a plane in the morning and fly my kids to Hawaii and keep my business running while I'm there, I can do that too. That's what I mean by freedom. I mean total freedom. To not have to be any particular place at any particular time and to be able to do basically whatever you want to do. But there's a third thing that we need in our business too, and that's impact. We need income, we need freedom, and we need impact. And I would say that we need all 3 of those things in a way that is predictable and consistent. Because we don't want to have income sometimes and then it dries up. And we don't want to have freedom sometimes, and then all of a sudden when we want to do something, we can't do it. And we don't want to be making an impact sometimes, like, oh, I work with that one guy, I got him great results, and then the next 4 people I worked with didn't get any results. That's not what we want. We want income, freedom, and impact, and we want it in a way that is predictable and consistent. And I'm going to take it a step further. I believe that you need to have all 3 of these, or eventually you will subconsciously sabotage your business. So think about this for a second. How many of you guys know doctors? How many of you guys have like a doctor friend or are a doctor? Every doctor friend that I know is literally working like 50, 60 hours a week. And they might be making really good money and they're making a big impact, but they have no freedom, right? And so I know a lot of doctors, but none of them are happy, right? And so it's the same thing. Like maybe you have a lot of freedom, but if you're not making any money, you're not going to be happy either. Or maybe you're making an impact, you're working for some charity, but you're not making any money and you don't have any freedom. You're not going to be happy either. You need to have all 3 of these things working at the same time, or you will subconsciously sabotage your business. So I want you to remember this, because this is going to be our focus over the next 3 days. Everything that I am going to teach you is about creating these three things: income, freedom, and impact, in a way that is predictable and consistent. If it doesn't give us either of these or any of these, I don't want anything to do with it. Right? You show me how to make money, you show me how to be free, I'm going to be excited for a while. But if I'm not making a difference, I'm going to wake up in the morning and I'm going to feel empty inside. Right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with, like, if you own a, Pinkberry franchise or something like that, right? Maybe it's making you money, maybe you have freedom, but it's like, you're giving people frozen sugar treats, and it's like, that's cool, but you're not really making a difference, right? This model is going to give you all three of these things: income, freedom, and impact. And I believe that it is the best way on the planet to create all three of those things at the same time. So let me ask you this. Which one of those do you need the most right now? If it's income and you're like, bro, I need money, I gotta pay the mortgage, let's be real. It's like, all right, cool. On the other hand, if you're like, yeah, Russ, I'm a psychiatrist or something, I'm seeing patients in my office, I'm working 50-hour weeks, I'm exhausted, I'm burnt out, then freedom is the thing that's missing for you. Or maybe you're one of those big shots that's making a lot of money and you got a lot of freedom, but you're just not making the impact that you want to make. So let's talk about why high ticket is awesome and why whichever of those things is the most important thing for you, how this is going to help you get it. The high ticket model is awesome. The first reason is profitability. Okay? Now, I don't want to get too deep in the weeds on this, because if you don't have a background in online marketing, you might not really know what I'm talking about here. But there's a lot of people that are teaching low ticket strategies, where it's like you're going to sell something for $7 and you're going to sell something for $27 or whatever it is, and then you're going to work your way up. We'll talk more about that later. But what they're not going to tell you is that when it comes to a low ticket offer, most of the time they are losing money in the beginning. They're losing money on that low ticket thing. In other words, let's say you've got like a $20 ebook. You might be spending $50 in advertising to get one person to buy that ebook. Does that make sense? So now I'm in the hole like $30. Every time I make a sale, I'm losing money, and I'm hoping to make that back with a high ticket offer at some point. But in the beginning, I'm losing money. So with high ticket, you can actually avoid that trap and you can be profitable right out of the gate. So that's huge. The other reason high ticket is great is simplicity, right? How many people here hate the tech stuff? We probably have a few tech ninjas here, but how many people just don't even want to deal with the tech stuff? When I first started my coaching business, guys, or when I first started in online marketing, I had zero background in tech. I remember sitting there watching YouTube videos, like banging my head against the keyboard, trying to figure out the tech stuff, trying to figure out how to make a website, how to make this stuff work. I sucked. And so the great thing about this model is it is incredibly simple. There's one very simple 4-step funnel that we use to get clients. I'm going to show you what that looks like in just a second. Another reason high ticket works is speed. Speed. This process takes people who have never heard of Russ Ruffino before, takes them from clicking on our ads to enrolling in one of our high ticket offers within 24 to 48 hours. I don't have to spend years building an audience. I don't have to create all these this massive amount of content that I'm putting out all the time. They click my ad, they buy my program, that's it. All right? And finally, amazing clients. If you really want to make a difference in the lives of your clients and you want to work with the coolest people on the planet, high ticket is the way to go. You can see that's a quick shot of our Trustpilot page. We got like 4.9 stars out of 5, excellent reviews. Our clients are super happy. So why is premium pricing the key to success, right? Premium pricing actually reassures your clients that you're the best of the best. So if you guys are going into a market, right? Like we've got clients in some really crowded markets, right? Like one of our best clients is a marriage coach. Now, there's a million marriage and family therapists. There's a million couples counselors. Like that's a crowded market. But we were able to let her go into that market and build this incredible business right out of the gate. Why? Why? Premium pricing. So if I said right here behind door number 1, I have a car, and that car is $20,000. And then behind door number 2, I have another car, and it's $300,000. Without knowing anything about those two cars, you would assume that the car behind door number 2 is a way better car than the car behind door number 1. And that's the power of premium pricing. You know, if I hear, oh yeah, you know, Lynn Lee Rose has an offer and it's, you know, $40, it's like, oh, okay, well, that's another $40 thing. But if someone's like, hey, Lynn Lee has this incredible transformational workshop, it's $10,000. Now I got to take her seriously. I got to really consider that because that's something that could really solve my problem. Does that make sense? And for that reason, it attracts the most committed clients. A higher price, again, makes it easier to be profitable with paid traffic. And that's really important that you guys understand this because so many of the bright, shiny objects out there revolve around low ticket stuff because you think, oh man, it must be easier to get somebody to buy something for $5 than it is to get them to buy something for $5,000. But it's not. It's not easier to do that profitably. And higher pricing immediately separates you from your competitors and positions you as the best of the best. This is how you cut through the noise. The price itself allows you to cut through the noise. All right. So let's talk about what are people buying from us, right? And we haven't even talked about that yet, right? Like, Russ, you're talking about someone paying me all this money. Like, what am I giving them? Well, they're not buying your time. They're not buying your expertise. They're buying an outcome. Those of you that are taking notes, and I see a lot of you are, and you guys are my favorites, the ones that are taking notes, write this down. People are buying an outcome. They are buying an outcome. They don't care how much time it takes you to deliver it. They don't care where you went to school or where you got your degree or how many certifications you have or that you spent 40 years meditating in a cave with Guru Ramalama Ding Dong, right? They care about the outcome that you're going to help them achieve. That's the only thing they care about. And so what that means is that your pricing should be based on the value of the outcome that you deliver. So think about that for a second. Let me go back to my client Meg for a minute. Your marketing, your position, your offers, your pricing, it's all about the outcome. That's all your prospects care about. So again, my client Meg, we helped her put together an 8-week program to save people's marriages. Think about that for a minute. You got a marriage. It's not working out. You might get divorced. We all know divorce is a pain in the ass. Some people are happily divorced and some people it sucked. But either way, it's like, if you could not go through that, what's that worth? It's priceless. Right? My client Becky helps dyslexic kids learn to read. I've got a son. He can't read. 8 weeks from now, he's reading at the top of his class. What's that worth as a parent? What am I going to pay for that? Whatever it costs. Does that make sense? Whatever that outcome is that you provide, that is what your clients are paying for. And if you solve a major life or business challenge in your work, then I want to submit to you that that outcome is priceless. Can you guys dig that? Because maybe you've never thought of yourself in that way before. Maybe you've thought of yourself as saying, oh, you know, I'm a therapist. You know, people come in my office. I charge them $100 an hour. That's what my time is worth. I'm a lawyer. I charge $300 an hour, whatever it might be. What you do is priceless. The outcome that you deliver is priceless. Does that make sense? So if you guys don't walk away with anything else over the next 3 days, I want you to understand that you are worth way more than what you have thought up until this point. You are worth so much more. And like I said at the beginning, you are needed. You are needed. Whatever that outcome is, there's people all over the world that need it. And that is what your pricing should be based on. Not what your competitors are charging. Oh, I looked around and, you know, there's that other girl. She's been in business longer than I have. She's got professional pictures on her website. She has this really cool video on her website where she's like walking across the beach, holding like a mug of coffee, and she's looking out in the distance. And it's like, oh man, she's so professional and so cool. That is not the reason that people hire you. People don't care about any of that stuff. They care about the outcome that you're going to help them achieve, and you need to charge accordingly, all right? So what's great about this is that selling the outcome makes the buying decision an easy one, right? Because if I'm sitting here going like, oh, hire me because you really like my website. Maybe you go to my website and you're like, dude, this guy's website sucks. Or like, hire me because I have, 50,000 followers on Instagram. It's like, well, there's another guy with $75,000 on Instagram. Maybe I'd hire him. So hire me because I got a PhD from Cornell. Well, that other guy got a PhD from Harvard. So, right? No, make the decision simple. Do you want to save your marriage or not? Yes, great. Let's go. Do you want to drop 60 pounds? Yes, let's go. Do you want a business that works? Yes, let's go. So whatever that outcome is that you provide, when you build your communication around the outcome, it makes the buying decision very easy. And what I need each and every one of you guys to do is to begin to internalize that what you do is priceless. Because if what you do is priceless and you have a $5,000 workshop, that's a steal. That's a steal. So just think about that for a minute, guys. Let that in. What is that outcome that you provide? We're going to get clear on that today, but just start thinking about it now. And what's the true value of that outcome? What's that really worth? So what are some example outcomes from our clients? What am I talking about? You're going to meet some of these clients tomorrow when we do our inspiration panel. So this is my client, Kate. Kate helps women overcome burnout. So she works with professional women who also have kids, right? And those of you guys that are any professional moms, just raise your hands and let me know, right? You're working, you have kids. It's rough, right? Because when you're working in your career, you feel like you're neglecting your kids. And when you're hanging out with your kids, you feel like you're not moving your career forward, right? Kate helps women overcome that. What would you spend if that wasn't a problem anymore, right? If you could crush it in your career and crush it in your marriage and crush it with your kids, and it's like you don't have to feel that mom guilt anymore, and everything's working out great, and you feel like you have all the time in the world. Like, that's valuable, right? Like, that's valuable. So that's what Kate does. Megan Alfred, 2022, saved 833 marriages. In 2023, they saved 955. That's 1,700 families that are going to stay together. That's what I'm talking about when I say impact. This is my client, Mo. Absolutely love her. She works with women, professional women, to get them ahead in their career, to get them those promotions and pay raises that they deserve. She's got a wonderful high-ticket offer. She helps them, she would say she helps them bring their soul to work. So how do you show up authentically? Garrick helps doctors integrate functional medicine into their practice. Super cool. And my client, Lisa, helps women find true love. So what I want you to understand, guys, is like that's a lot of stuff, right? All of these offers solve a major problem in the world of health or wealth or relationships. So if you can solve those kinds of problems in your work, you need to be commanding a premium price just like these people are. And again, all of them, not some of them, all of them were starting from like a dead start when they first came to work with us. And I really want you guys to understand that. It's not because they had they came to me, they had 20 million followers on Instagram, so it's like, great, make one post on Instagram and all of a sudden you get all these clients. No, these people were right where you're at, right where you're at. Some of you guys are probably more advanced than they were. But they followed the system and the model that I'm about to walk you through, and now their lives are different, okay? So what is a high-ticket offer? A high-ticket offer can be almost anything as long as it's designed to get the outcome for your clients. So again, we're not talking about information, we're talking about transformation. And how you deliver that outcome is kind of incidental as long as you deliver it. So your high-ticket offer could literally be like a 2 to 3 day event. It could be a done-for-you service, or it could be an 8 to 10 week online workshop. And that's what about 95% of our clients do. So that's about where we're going to put our focus. What does it take to produce that amazing outcome, right? Because sometimes when I tell people, hey, it's all about the outcome, you start to feel pressure. Like, oh God, like, can I really get results for people? Like, what's Russ saying? Like, do I have to get results for every single client? What does that look like? Oh God, what if someone pays me $5,000 to save their marriage and their husband sucks and he walks out and then now they're blaming me and like, what do I do? And oh God, like, okay, so what do you have to give people in your high ticket program? Well, I want to tell you, you got to give them 3 things. And we call this the triangle of transformation. because it kind of sounds cool. Like, it makes me think of like the Bermuda Triangle or something. Those of you guys who grew up in like the 80s, like, I think we all thought that the Bermuda Triangle was going to be like something that came up a lot more often than it does. Like, I remember I was like really worried about like going to the Bermuda Triangle and disappearing, but it just hasn't come up in my life. All right. Anyway, so we have start to finish strategy, world-class support, mindset and performance coaching. All right. So when I say start to finish strategy, what do I mean? You're not just going to give them a grab bag of information, like here's an encyclopedia of how to save your marriage. No, you're going to give them a plan. You're going to give them a step-by-step game plan that they can follow. And we're going to design that game plan together in the next couple sessions. Okay? But basically, they start, their marriage isn't working, they follow A, B, C, D, E, and then boom, their marriage is basically working. That's what I mean by start to finish strategy. Now, you need to give them world-class support, right? So again, you're not going to just dump a bunch of information on their heads. You're going to say, here's step one. And then you're going to guide them and support them as they execute step one. Then you're going to say, here's step two. And you're going to answer their questions and guide them and support them as they execute step two. So they get help from you every step of the way. And that's the value of the coaching. Because I'm telling you guys, just dumping a bunch of information on people, it doesn't work. You got to actually guide them through this process. And then I'll submit to you that you also need to give them some mindset and performance coaching. Because I can hand you the best strategy on the planet for building a business, but what's going to hold you back, even if I give it to you step by step, crystal clear, the best support you've ever seen in your life, what do you think is going to hold you back? Fear. Yes, that's right. Yeah, those of you guys that were here at the very beginning, you met Jane Jewell. The reason that Jane is here is because I thought to myself, no, I got this in the beginning of my program. I got the best strategy. I got the best support. We're good, baby. Every client's going to get an amazing result. And what happened? People got stuck in fear. And that's why I hired Jane, who's one of the best mindset and performance coaches on the planet, to help coach our clients through that fear. And that's what she does, and it's absolutely amazing. So you got start to finish strategy, world-class support, and mindset and performance coaching to get them past their head trash. And if your program has those three things, it can command a high ticket price. So it isn't much more complicated than that. Now, what's the easiest way to do that tactically? For most of you guys, it's going to be an 8-week online workshop. That's about what like 95% of our clients do. Everything I'm about to teach you, it can work if you want to do something else. If you want to do one-on-one coaching, you can do it, even though I don't recommend it. If you want to do a done-for-you service, let's say you're a graphic designer or web designer, you want to build websites for people, you just want to do it for them, it can work for that too. But for most of you guys that are interested in creating a transformational outcome for your clients, the best way to do it is an 8-week online workshop. So what do? Well, we take the outcome that your client is after, we divide it into like 8 to 10 steps. And those steps are the 8 to 10 weeks of your program. Okay, so let me show you exactly what I'm talking about here on the whiteboard. So we have point A, and then we have point B, right? So point A is where they are now. Point A is like, my marriage isn't working, okay? Point B, they're staying together, and it's actually working pretty good. What you do is you ask yourself, well, what are the steps? What are the milestones from point A to point B? So maybe the first thing is we have to get them clear on what they want out of the marriage in the first place, all right? And I don't know anything about saving a marriage, so I'm just making this up. So if you're a marriage and family therapist and you're like, Russ, this plan sucks, it's just don't judge me, okay? This isn't, I'm about the marketing piece, okay? So maybe the first thing we're gonna do is get clear on what's not working in the marriage and what they want. And then maybe the second thing is we have to stop the fights. Maybe they're having these horrible knockdown, drag-out fights, and we have to just interrupt that process so they're actually communicating again. And then maybe that's the third step. We show them how to communicate with each other. And then maybe the fourth step is that we bring back the intimacy and the passion again. I don't know. But what you do is you break up that outcome, that journey, into like 8 to 10 steps. And then each step is 1 week of your program. Does that make sense? So the first week, boom, we're just focusing on getting them clear. The second week, we're focusing on stopping the fights. The third week, we're focusing on their communication. The fourth week, we're bringing back the intimacy. Does that make sense? So it's a simple step-by-step game plan. So then that way, you're not just dumping a bunch of information on them and going, hey, figure this out. It's like, no, I'm going to coach you through the process of saving this marriage. Here's the first thing we're going to do. Here's the second thing we're going to do. Here's the third thing we're going to do, and so on. And that's how we actually walk people to, there we go. That's how we actually walk people to the outcome, okay? So you're going to pre-record one training module for each of those 8 weeks that covers one step. So the first week, you're going to teach that first step. Second week, you're going to teach that second step, and so on. Every week, you're going to do 1 to 2 group Q&A calls over Zoom with all of your clients. So you're not going to meet with them individually. You're going to do one call, answer everyone's questions. The power of that is that people get to learn from one another. And you guys are going to see that over the course of the next 3 days. When we do Q&A, you're going to hear someone ask a question. You're going to hear Heavy ask a question, and you're going to be like, oh my God, she asked this amazing question. I didn't even think of that, right? So every week, you're going to do 1 to 2 group Q&A calls over Zoom with everyone. You're going to have some kind of a help desk where people can ask questions. And then you should have some kind of like Facebook group where like people can interact and support each other. So Gregory is asking a great question right now in the chat. He says, do people go through the program in a cohort? Like in other words, what he means is you enroll 10 clients into the program and all 10 go through the program together. The answer to that question, Gregory, is no. You can do it that way if you want, but the way that I suggest is that you make your program evergreen, okay? So let's say Mr. Gerardo signs up for the program. He starts on week 1. He gets started on week 1 that day. 7 days later, he gets week 2. Then Lynn Lee signs up. She starts on day 1 with week 1. 7 days later, she goes through week 2. Now, when they come to the Q&A call together, Gerardo's going to be on week 2. Lynn Lee's going to be on week 1. Maybe Gleb is on like week 7 because he's already like super advanced and awesome. But what happens, guys, is your clients get to learn from one another. Lynn Lee and Gerardo, who are first starting the program, they look at how Gleb's crushing it. He's on week 7, and they're like, oh my God, I want to be like that guy. And so now it inspires them to move forward. So it's really cool, guys, because it creates this whole group dynamic that it's impossible to create with one-on-one. So those of you guys that are working with clients one-on-one, you know that everything comes from you, right? It's like you're telling them what to do, and they're like, well, maybe that makes sense, right? But they can't see all your other clients and what's happening. But with this model, they can. They see everybody else crushing it. And it inspires them and it makes them want to move forward. And what's going to happen is there's going to be this incredible community energy that gets created, and your clients are going to work with each other and lift each other up and support each other. Does that make sense? So it's super powerful. So look, this takes just a few hours a week to deliver. There's your freedom. You can deliver it from anywhere in the world with just a laptop and an internet connection. So think about that. It takes a few hours a week to deliver this program. You got a laptop and internet connection, you can deliver from anywhere in the world. You can do it from home. Most of the time I'm doing it from home, but I'm in South Carolina right now at this studio. My program's still going. Okay? So that's freedom, time freedom and location freedom. Now you can price it at 3K, 8K, 10K, 15K, like we talked about, because it's priceless. So there's your income. And it gets better results for your clients than anything else. So there's your impact. And then an offer like this is 100% evergreen and scalable. And that's what makes it predictable. Income, freedom, and impact in a scalable and predictable way. For most of our clients, like if you've got a bunch of clients in your program, your Q&A call might go like an hour and a half, right? And that's no big deal. And then if you have like 60 clients going through your program and you're making like hundreds of thousands of dollars a month and you're like balling and it's amazing, just add another Q&A, right? You were doing Q&As on Monday, now you're going to do Q&As on Mondays and Thursdays. No problem. So how do we enroll clients into your high ticket offer consistently? I'm not going to spend too much time here, guys, but I just want to give you an overview because we're going to go real deep on this tomorrow, okay? We use something called the Authority Funnel System. So let's imagine that we've done the work today. Let's fast forward to the end of today. You've got your high ticket offer mapped out. You're ready to go. You're ready to sell it. You're super excited. How do we enroll clients into it? Where do we get these clients? Where do they come from? Well, here's our process. This is the process we use to enroll clients into our high ticket offers. Now, pay attention. I don't want you guys to get lost in the weeds. It's super complicated. All right, I'm going to give it to you slowly. Add, authority video, enrollment call, new client. Did anybody get lost? You want me to show you again? Let me show you again. So it's ad, authority video, enrollment call, new client. That's it. Okay? That's as complicated as it gets, okay? There's no upsells, there's no downsells, there's no cross-sells, there's no complicated funnels, there's no opt-in for this thing and then get upselled this thing and the other thing and blah, 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 blah. No, they click on your ad, they watch a video, they come to you, they have a quick conversation with you, and then they become a new client. That's it. That's how we take people from clicking on our ads to enrolling in a high-ticket offer within 24 to 48 hours. All of this stuff that you guys have heard about like having to nurture people for like 6 months is bullshit. So those of you that are taking notes, write that down. Nurturing equals BS, right? There's your formula. Write that down. It's just not necessary. If you're shy and you don't have good marketing and you're afraid to like tell people what you've got, then yeah, you can spend 6 months warming them up before you finally make them an offer, but that hurts them, right? Let's go back to that marriage offer we were talking about before. They might be divorced in 6 months. They don't have time for you to nurture them and warm them up, right? I mean, their marriage is on the rocks. This thing's falling apart. She's got 1 foot out the door. It's like, buddy, you better turn this around. But then you don't make them an offer for 6 months? Well, great, I could have used your help. Where were you? Right? So that transformational thing that solves their problem, we're going to put that right in front of them right in the beginning. And we're not going to waste any time because I don't have time to waste and neither do they. So why does this work? Number one, it offers the outcome. So again, imagine a client with a serious problem like a failing marriage. He knows that a $27 ebook is not going to solve his problem. Right? If my marriage is on the rocks and I'm online and I'm going like, oh my God, like my wife's about to bail, what do I do? And you have like a $27 ebook to save my marriage, I'm going, I don't care. I don't need that. That's not going to help me. My problems go way deeper than that. So if I offer them that, he's going to bail. And so by offering them those low ticket things, you actually filter out the best people because they're not going to take it seriously. Does that make sense? Right? So instead, what you do is you offer him what he really needs, something that can actually save his marriage, something that can actually get him the outcome. Does that make sense? Cool. The other reason it works is empathy. So tomorrow, we're going to get into the marketing. And you're going to hear me talk a lot about empathy because empathy is our secret weapon. Because empathy is what creates instant connection with the client and instant authority for you. So in the chat a minute ago, and I didn't catch who asked it, but someone was like, well, Russ, how do we demonstrate to them that we can get them the outcome? Like if we don't have all these testimonials and case studies and we're just getting started, how do I show these people that I can really get them this result? Empathy. When you can describe someone's problems better than they can, they automatically assume that you know the answer. So you can tell me, Russ, hey, I went to Harvard, and that might mean something to me, or it might not. But if you ask me a question like, Russ, does this sound like you? Do you wake up every day 18 inches away from somebody that you thought was the love of your life, but every day you feel like there's miles separating you, and that gap is getting bigger every day? Russ, every time you walk by your wife's phone, do you feel yourself tempted to reach for it and start going through her texts? But if you're afraid that if you did that, what you might find out? And if I'm in that situation, I'm sitting there going, yeah, I did that today. How could you possibly know that? Empathy. And I'm immediately going to go to you. People are laughing. I'm immediately going to go to you and ask, how do I save my marriage? Like, what do I do? That's the power. That's how we take these clients who like no one's ever heard of and they don't have a big audience. They don't have a big following. But again, you tell me things about myself that I haven't told anybody, and I'm going to assume that you're the one that can help me. And I'm going to assume that you hear me and you understand me and you're the expert that I most want to work with. So that's how you create that authority and connection, and you do it in an authentic way. Jacqueline says, I'm an empath. Jacqueline, that's really going to help. So when you can describe your audience's problems better than they can, they automatically assume that you know the answer. And this is the best way to instantly create authority. And the reason why is because they conclude that for themselves. They don't go, well, Cheryl told me that, I've got, that she's got a PhD, so she must be an authority. No, they conclude on their own that you're an authority. Another reason it works is simplicity. So every step in your funnel is a potential breaking point. The more steps, the more places there are to lose people, the more things that can break down. So keeping your sales process simple means it's extremely easy to identify what's not working and fix it rapidly. So what does it look like? Well, again, we're going to go through all the marketing in more detail tomorrow, so let's give you a quick overview. What does the ad look like? It looks something like this. You run ads on social media that calls out your client's biggest problem directly and also speaks to the exact outcome that they want. Outcome plus curiosity hook. How to save your marriage without spending even 1 second in therapy. How to build an incredible business without having to spend all day on social media. And again, we'll go through the ads in more detail tomorrow. Then when they click your ad, they get taken to what we call an authority video. How to go from total unknown to the #1 most trusted authority in your market with just one short video, even if you have no audience, no following, and no one knows who you are. It's a good headline. When potential clients click your ad, they go straight to an authority video. Every word of this video has to be incredibly powerful. And the key to making a high-ticket sale is to establish your authority. So with great copy, you can do this without testimonials, without case studies, without certifications or anything else. Our current authority video doesn't have any of that, even though we have 5,000-6,000 case studies. The copy does the work, right? So you guys, we have tons of client results. We don't really talk about it very much in our marketing. So those of you guys that are just starting out and you're worried and you're going like, dude, Russ, I don't have all these testimonials. Like, why would anybody listen to me? You don't need that. You really don't. And that authority video has to be so good that your clients book a call to talk to you and then enroll in your high ticket offers 24 to 48 hours later, even when they've never heard of you before. So here's how. And again, we'll go into much greater detail about this tomorrow. I just kind of want to give you a quick overview. The first thing we're going to do is capture their attention by stacking the outcomes they want most. If you stay with me and watch this presentation for the next 5 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how you can save your marriage, fall back in love with your wife again, have her fall back in love with you, and be like newlyweds again, even if one of you is already got 1 foot out the door and you're barely on speaking terms. Then we're going to establish your authority. We're going to create connection and authority by vividly describing how your audience experiences the problem every day. Does this sound like you? Blah, 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 blah. Then we're going to shift their thinking. We're going to lay out exactly what doesn't work and why it doesn't work. And then we're going to present your solution as the cutting edge solution. So if you're trying to save your marriage, you're probably doing this. If you're trying to build a great business, you're probably trying to do this. And here's why that doesn't work. And here's why that doesn't work. And here's why this other thing doesn't work. And here's what you should be doing instead. So you tear down the stuff that they've tried, and then you clue them into what they should be doing. And then you invite them to book a call and talk to you. So you tell them exactly what you're looking for in a client. You invite them to book a call with you. Then on that phone call or that Zoom call, what you need to understand is that most sales training, and we're going to do a whole module on this tomorrow. I'm going to walk you through this call structure in great detail. So today I'm kind of just giving you a preview of some of the stuff we're going to cover. But I'll walk you through this call structure in great detail tomorrow. Most sales training has one focus, and that's to separate people from their money, right? And most of the time, they tell you to do that whether that person belongs in your program or not. Please don't do this. It's going to destroy your business, and it's just wrong, right? So the way to handle these phone calls is that you don't think of it as a sales call. That's not the point. The purpose of the call is to serve the client to the truth. So like right now, if your business isn't working, your marriage isn't working, your health isn't working, whatever it might be, it's very likely that people are kind of in denial about how bad their problems are. So like most of the time when when we have a client who's like talking to someone and they say, hey, what's not working in your marriage right now? That person would probably be like, oh, things are okay. And then we dig a little deeper and we find out it's way worse. So we got to get them to the truth. And that's the greatest gift we can give people, guys. I really want you to understand this. If you do sales the wrong way, it's a totally unpleasant experience that they never want to do again. It sucks for them and it sucks for you. This call is the beginning of the coaching relationship. Does that make sense? So if you guys are using all these like high pressure tactics and stuff, it's like, great, you might get the sale, but what kind of relationship are you building? Right? You're going to have to show up and work with this person tomorrow. So you've got to set that relationship up beautifully where they're signing up to work with you for the right reason. They understand the problems they're struggling with. They understand what they need to do about it, and you're going to help them move forward. Does that make sense? So your moral obligation as a coach is to never, ever enroll a client unless you're 100% sure that you can help them win. And like I said, guys, results are everything. At Clients on Demand, we say results are our religion. It's the most important thing to us to help our clients win. And that starts on that very first call, because you're going to have a call with them and you're going to get them clear about what's really going on. And everyone in their life is afraid to have that conversation. Everybody knows their business isn't working. Everyone's afraid to talk to them about it. Everybody knows their marriage isn't working. Everyone's afraid to talk to them about it. But you can help them get real on what's going on, and you can help them decide to do something about it. And that's why these calls are so powerful and why our clients actually love to do these calls with potential clients. So when you do this right, your client's immediately going to sense that you're very different from other coaches that they've spoken to and that you are the real deal. So we use a structure that we call the IRUS system, and I'll just walk you through it real quick. Again, tomorrow we'll go real deep on this. So you go in there with the intention to serve the client to the truth, not to sell your program. And our goal is clarity. That's all we want. Because once we get people clear on what's not working, most of the time, they're going to decide to do something about it. Then we establish rapport. We get into rapport with the client, and this takes like 2 minutes if you do it right. But all we're trying to do here is to get the client to understand that you're on their side. You're not going to sell them something that they don't need. You're not going to enroll them into your program if they're not a fit. You're not going to try to work with them if you can't help them. And so you just do this in a real authentic way. At Clients on Demand, my company, we don't even make an offer to about 20% of the people we speak to because they're just not a fit. And I'm paying for those leads, but it's the right thing to do, okay? Then we uncover the problem. We ask specific probing questions to get to the truth. And our goal is to get them emotionally connected to the reality of the problem and what happens if they don't fix it. Then we size up the client where we just figure out, is this somebody that we can help or is it not, right? And then if it is someone we can help, we make them an offer to join our high ticket program. That's it. That's it. So the most important thing to remember is that the client is making the decision to solve the problem or not solve the problem. If they've decided to get the outcome, working with you is incidental, right? I want to save my marriage. Just like I said before, we're going to make it a real easy decision. It's not, hey man, do you want to come and you're going to meet me at the gym every day and we're going to get on the treadmill and the first thing we're going to do is you're going to run 5 miles until you throw up and then you're going to go up and you're going to do some free weights. It's like, nobody wants to do that. The decision is, do you want to get in shape or not? That's it. Okay? That is the entire process. Ad, authority video, phone call, new client. That is the backbone of our $100 million company. So what I wanted to do in this session is show you the high ticket model and just show you how it adds up to those big 3 things I mentioned before: income, freedom, and impact in a consistent and predictable way. Does that make sense, guys?
All right, hopefully now you have a really clear understanding of this high ticket model and how it works. If you want us to help you implement, there's a link in the description of this video. You can book a call with us, talk about working together, and we'll show you how you can implement this model in your business to help you scale and take things to the next level. I'm Russ Ruffino, and I'll catch you on the next video.